Hello, everyone, and welcome. Happy New Year. I am Christy Wilbert, the Senior Vice President here at URL Insurance Group, and also I run the Medicare Offerings Department here at URL. So I am thrilled to kick off this year's first webinar with all of you and step into 2025 strong. I think it's a perfect time to embrace new opportunities and set ourselves up for success in 2025. So thanks so much again for joining me. Today's webinar is all about agency building. This has been a really passion project for me to help agencies build as they progress through the steps properly, because I myself worked at an agency and helped to build that. So I have my own personal experience to bring to the table. And I talk to a lot of you out there, and I'm with you through when you start your agency all the way up to people that have been very successful in the years that I've been here at URL. So I come with a lot of knowledge myself, and then a lot of knowledge I can share with other agencies that we work with. So feel free to call me and have a one-on-one conversation about this. You know, every situation is different and unique, and I want to be a part of it. It gets me very excited to watch the progression that you go through personally, and hold your hand through it and enjoy the successes and the failures, because we all do fail and we learn through failure. So you have to be prepared for that also. I'm really hoping that this webinar targets those independent single agents that have been, doing a great job on their own, but they're ready to grow. And past just the, oh, my spouse is, my admin, because that seems to be the first step that everybody goes towards, or my college kid is home and they're, signing my appointments or doing my bookkeeping or submitting applications for me, which doesn't happen much anymore since we're paperless for the most part. A lot of you are still doing paper apps, but that's a good first step, having a family member or a friend be admin. But this is taking the next step after that. This is turning you from one independent person into an agency. So I hope you get a lot of good tips and tricks out of this, or just a clean step-by-step guide to help you through that process and the scary growing pains of that. I do have a lot of handouts in this webinar. They're all there for you to download and keep for your convenience to refer back to. And I just want to remind you of the very cliche quote that if you are comfortable, you're stagnant. And growth happens in the uncomfortable. So it's a time to challenge yourself. And there's no secret to any of this. This is very, structured information, but the secret is you. Do you have the gumption? Do you have what it takes to take the leap of faith, to go the extra mile, to be uncomfortable? So I'm excited to talk with you more about this today. We are going to start off by just telling you a little bit about URL in case you haven't worked with us in the past. Oop, I skipped a slide. I'm sorry. New laptop that I'm working with here today, so I apologize. What you see there is our logo. It does represent 3 sections of a heart: you, your clients, and us, our people. We are very passionate about helping people in this industry. I take personal passion in education. I wanted to be a teacher. I went to college for that. And I get to still use my passion by teaching you, our agent partners. So thank you for being a part of that and making me passionate about my job, so that we can help a lot of people in the process feel safer and more secure with the products that we're offering them. All right. So where do you start? Step 1 is establishing an LLC. Now, obviously, there are other things you can do. There are S Corps, there's C Corps, there's sole proprietorships. If you're going to be a business owner, which you are now establishing that you're going to be, you do want to consult a tax advisor. I'm not a tax professional. They'll guide you the best way. I can just say what I did and what I hear from a lot of agents, that the LLC seems to be the way to go. There are pros and cons to any way that you want to set up your agency. But the LLC does have a lot of benefits. It protects you against business liabilities. It doesn't go into your personal liabilities if anything were to happen, if you were sued, if you have E&O coverage on the business, those types of things. It keeps everything intact to the business and not go into your personal assets. It has tax flexibility. So they do offer some tax benefits and credits that you can get. Not everything is going through your name personally. It goes through the business, which is a benefit. It gives you credibility. People aren't just Googling your name or looking you up on Facebook. You have an actual business established, and that gives credibility. Growth potential. If you have an LLC structure, it makes it easier to hire and pay employees and have business operations like payroll, workers' compensation, admin tasks, things like that if you need to go down that road in the future, which that's the goal, to grow big enough that you have to do things like that. And succession planning. That's always a big one. So an LLC can continue to exist even after you pass away. So if you have somebody that you want to give your business to down the line, say it is a child, it's a brother because you own the business together. If you pass away, you can assign somebody else to the LLC and they'll continue to get paid on your book of business. So that's really important if you want to plan for the future. Okay, so how do we get the LLC set up? Obviously step one, like I said, is talk to a tax professional, but then you want to check name availability, and you can do that out on the Department of Insurance website. So you just do a search and it will come back. It sometimes takes about 10 days. You do pay a fee to do the search, and if it tells you that you're all clear, then you can move to step 2, which is actually filing with the state for that name. You have to pay for that as well. You can use an attorney, but LegalZoom does it just as good for cheaper, so it's up to you. After you do that, you do have to get everything licensed with that business name. So whoever you assign as the principal of the agency, that person does have a lot of responsibilities. So make sure you choose wisely. Most people make it themselves. Later on in your career, you might decide to add somebody else as well because you don't want to keep up with all the maintenance that's involved if you're no longer going to be actively selling business. But the agency principal does have to, in the Medicare situation, get AHIP certified, carrier product certified every single year for all the carriers that you sell in order for the business to be paid. So the agency principal is very important. And that goes with other lines of business too, and requirements for the agency, continuing education, all that stuff you have to do for your license. So the agency is tied to one person specifically, and that is the agency principal. So you have to get the business entity paid for and established, but then you also have to get them insurance licensed, the business entity. And like I said, that hooks to a person. And just cost fees. Nothing crazy that you have to do, and it can all be done online. It's super simple on the insurance department website. Okay, then you have to set up a bank account because contracting is going to eventually happen and you're going to want to be able to get paid. And it's better to have everything going into a business bank account because remember, now we're a business, we're not a single person. So we want to be able to pay employees. We want to be able to pay any overhead or anything like that out of the business account, not your personal. So this is a really big decision. I don't think you should take it lightly. As you get established and you become very successful, you might even get catered by a lot of banks that want your business and have a lot of meetings. So make sure that they have the things that you're going to want out of a bank. Just because you use them for your personal account doesn't mean that that is going to be the best bank for your business. Make sure they have lines of credit that you can take out for. A lot of people, if you might not be getting started, so you are a little bit established, but to start a business or to hire an employee, you might need a line of credit. You might need a loan. You might need some favors down the line, and you want to make sure this bank is able to do those sorts of things. So what services do they offer? Where are the perks? Do you have any personal relationships? It can be like a, I'll serve you if you serve me, you rub elbows type of situation. Will they let you come in and run appointments or meetings or market to their people at the bank? Try to create any opportunity that you can and establish a relationship of networking with the bank. Location is very important. Obviously, online is huge now, but you don't want to use a bank that's 3 hours away or in a different state. You want to use something local, build that relationship and that rapport. It's very important. Technology setup. So technology is no longer this big scary word, right? Like, I don't know how to use things. We can literally Google it and figure it out. I do it all of the time, not even for work, but for my home. How do I replace the back innards of the toilet? It will literally show me how to do it. Same thing with Medicare. I mean, I can literally Google a situation or use ChatGPT and it will tell me the answer. So many things are at our fingertips if we take the time to know how to use all of these tools. And technology equals efficiencies. If we're doing everything in paper and Excel, that is not the best way to stay organized and efficient. You need to have an agency management system, not only to be able to put notes in there about your clients, because, let's be honest, I have a great memory, but I can't remember 1,500 people every year when I'm doing annual reviews. I don't know about you guys. If you can, good for you. Wow, I'm impressed. But names are hard, and remembering little things about each person. You can put notes in there. Likes to golf, has a dog named Bingo, whatever the situation may be, so that, I know that you're building these relationships, but nobody's going to remember those details on every single person. And it will mean a lot to them when you recall it during your conversation because of the notes that you put in. They also help with you with marketing, keeping in front of your clients. You can run a report in there on everybody's birthdays or just their renewal dates, anything, and make sure that you're sending, business cards or birthday cards, anniversary cards, anything that you can do to stay in front of them throughout the year and remind them that you're their agent. You can also do email marketing campaigns or company newsletters, and it just keeps you nice and organized, and you can use the reporting to your benefit for good retention purposes. HIPAA protection software is fantastic. If you need any advice on that, I know Jim McDaniel would be happy to talk to you about that, another senior vice president here at URL, and he runs our marketing and IT department. Scheduling assist, I definitely recommend having something like that. It makes it so easy to put on your signature in an email or just to stay organized within your organization, especially if there's more than one of you. And if you have an admin answering phones, she can go ahead in, or he, and see your availability and schedule appointments for you. So everybody has access to it, which keeps you nice and organized. We use Calendly here at URL, but there are many different options out there. And, they're free as long as you use the basic format of such things, which you don't usually have to get into a crazy scheduling assist program unless you have lots of employees, which maybe is the goal. So who knows? If you're not familiar with Trello, it's a really cool system we use here in our contracting department. And our marketing, actually. So what it looks like is separate columns. And once you complete a task, you can move it to the next column. So like for contracting, it'll be like, they completed their part, sent to the carrier. Then we're waiting on the carrier's approval. And then we're waiting on a writing number. And then we're waiting for the person to get ready to sell. So it goes through the steps because it's not just a one-step program. So it's really nice and organized. You as an agent could do something like, met with the client and then, waiting on the app to come back, or Scott sent the app to the carrier, waiting on a confirmation number, whatever keeps you nice and organized. It's just everything is nice and tidy for you. Okay, so I personally do this every year for myself. I think as a business owner, it is very important for you to start off the year with a business plan. I was always taught that if it's not written down, it's not real. It's just a dream. You have to hold yourself accountable to your goals, right? Especially as an owner. of your own business, because who's going to hold you accountable? Only you, right? So it's amazing how fast a week or a month can just slip by and you not hit any of your goals because you don't have anybody that you're being held accountable to but yourself. So business plan does that, right? Sets up your goals, sets up where you want to be. You should have marketing campaigns scheduled for the whole year, what you're going to do for retention throughout the year, how much you're going to spend on marketing for T65s each and every month, what that is going to look like in return on investment. What are your goals per month with those marketing dollars? How many sales are you going to have? How many referrals are you going to get from current clients? I mean, I do have a business plan attached here in the handout. So if you want to take a look at that and use it as a guide or add to it, I believe you can add to it. Go ahead and do that. It's there for your convenience. It's something that I use. And have fun with it. I mean, it's go big or go home. You can always reel it in, and you'll probably reel it in naturally, because you'll quickly realize you probably don't have the funds or the time to do everything that you want to do. But put it all down, because maybe you won't get to it in the first 6 months, but maybe you'll circle back in the next 6 months and you'll be like, you know what, that was a really good idea. And I'm going to refresh that and I'm going to try that one again. That's what it's all about. Remember that I mentioned failure earlier. We all fail. Don't beat yourselves up. Don't say like, this isn't for me. I tried. I think we sometimes learn our greatest things in failure. And everybody who was great has failed at something or has many, many times before they succeed. So pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and try again, because we know you can do this. And if you're passionate about it, that's all that matters. This business is really about people and serving an territory of people that really need our help, really don't understand. Medicare doesn't make it easy. CMS doesn't make it easy on this group of individuals to pick a Medicare plan. So this is a profession where you really are looked at as the expert and they need your guidance. You guys are incredible at doing that and educating yourselves. So definitely give yourselves a pat on the back. This is not an easy field to stay in, but if you're passionate about it, I highly, highly urge you to keep up with it and keep going. Sorry, got off track. But E&O insurance also is something that you're going to need as a business. You can piggyback onto our plan here at URL because you work with us, you can pay into the plan. I believe that covers you for up to 3 people. After you have more than 3 people on your agency, you do have to get your own business E&O insurance. And then, as I mentioned before, everybody needs to be AHIP certified, carrier certified, especially if you're the agency selling principal. Okay, so this is where it can kind of get creative. Some people think it's the hardest part, but I would like to think it's the most fun part, because this is what it's all about, right? It's all about building the structure of your agency. How do you want to do that? This is the first time you get to say, like, this is what I have coming in. I want to get a really great person, so I want to pay them well, or I'm going to split commissions, or I'm going to give them a salary, or whatever you want to do. And I'm going to tell you, I've had many, many, many conversations over the years with our agency principals, and no 2 agencies do it alike. Not one. It is crazy, because you would think there would be some sort of formal way to pay downline agents, and there is not. I will tell you the right way to do it, just to get set up properly. Obviously, number 1 is to pick the FMO that matches your business philosophy. There are tons of FMOs out there. We work with some of them. I obviously have my favorite people to work with. Sometimes it's the people at the FMO. Sometimes it's the FMO themselves. But it's all about relationships in this business. Who's going to go the extra mile for you? Whose morals line up with your own? Everybody is different. And one FMO isn't going to fit you just because it fits someone else. And that is completely okay. Follow your heart. This is a decision about you and your business. You're going to be putting your blood, sweat, and tears into this. So pick somebody that aligns with your mind and your heart. So number 2 is the agency and the agency principal need to contract with all the carriers. If you've been through this before, you know this is the not fun part. It's a lot of clicking to sign. Now, we do make it easy at URL because we have an electronic contracting system called Surance Bay or Sure LLC. Very easy click to sign. But if you have 45 carriers and 5 downlines, as you can possibly imagine, that's a lot of emails for somebody to click through and sign. So we understand, we hold your hand, we try to stay as organized as we can on our side. We are doing same day contracting. There is no wait on anything here at URL. So if you're interested in moving any business to us or want to try it with one carrier or maybe something that's new on the market, we're happy to do that. It's not all or nothing. I will take the opportunity to say that we do have a Gemini Elite Partnership Program where if you do all your business with URL, you do get extra perks for that, but it isn't required. Okay. Step 3. Once the agency and agency principal have approved contracting per carrier, we can begin contracting the downline. So the principal has to be done first. The agency itself has to be contracted first. So if you're an independent person and you're moving to a business model, you do have to do recontracting for everything because we have to put the LLC information out in there. And then if you are working with somebody else, they'll have to get contracted again as well under the business. Just a little heads up. And this is the perfect time to do it. January, we're starting over. We're not waiting on apps and all that stuff anymore. And there is no delay in doing business, just so you know. All the paperwork is done on the back end. It doesn't affect you at all. You don't have to pause selling or anything like that. So this is the right way to set up a downline. The right way is to have all the commissions coming in to the LLC and assigning all of your downline agents. By downline agents, I mean employees, staff, salespeople, whomever are working with you or for you. They should be contracted as LOA. What LOA means is licensed only agent. Does that make sense in words and definitions? No, it does not. But it's an agent that just basically assigns their commissions to a business. That's it. So if you're the agency principal, you're actually LOA to your business because all the business is going to the business and paying from the business to an individual. That's all that means. So if anybody were to leave, you are protected. Say, I'm going to use New York Life as an example, or let's retract that. Any life carrier, you'll see them a lot at college job fairs, and they do a really great job at recruiting young individuals to come sell life insurance because you can be very profitable at it. Day number 1, they put a tablet in front of you and they say, list everybody you know, friends and family that you can sell life insurance to. And you do it and you sell it. Excuse me. The majority of people don't make it in that career because once they sell their friends and family, they don't know where to go to next. Maybe they don't have the gumption for the job, right? But New York Life, any life insurance carrier gets to keep all those life sales. So really they used you, they sucked you dry for everything that you could get or give, And then you leave and they don't care because they still have that business. So in layman's terms, that's what LOA means, right? Because you are devoting a lot of time training an individual to sell Medicare or life insurance or annuities or group health or penny or whatever you're doing at your agency, PNC. And if it doesn't work for them, if they're not cut out for this, you don't want to worry about the business falling off the books. Since they were assigned LOA and everything paid to the agency, they can leave and you'll still continue to get payments. I'm so sorry, excuse me. So this means that you own the book of business. Now, if they ever decide to leave and it's been like 5 years and they've, been vested with you and have done a really good job, you can talk about them buying you out. Because maybe they've decided, hey, I've learned a lot from you. Thank you so much for this opportunity you've given me. I think I want to go out on my own, and I don't want to split my commissions, or I don't want the salary anymore. I want to be my own business owner. And you're like, you know what? You're doing a great job. You deserve that. I'll definitely give you the opportunity to buy your book of business from me. And you work out an arrangement. That usually doesn't happen. People usually leave and start over from scratch, just so you know. Main reason being is because as the business, you market as the business, right? So all the leads that are coming into the business are usually because of your business name. So the employee or downline have gotten a lot of business over the years because of your established reputation, maybe not them as an individual. But there are circumstances where that's not the case. So really, it's a case-by-case basis. When you're LOA, I think it's important to note that you're not giving up the right to service the policy, just that you're not getting commissions directly to you. I'm talking too much. All right, so commissions, bonuses, any overrides, those are all included. Everything goes to the business when you're LOA. Chargebacks are taken also from the business. All right, the other option, if you're not going to go LOA, is to let the agent be an independent agent, which they work at your agency and you're just going to pay them commissions because maybe they're responsible for going out and getting their own business. Maybe you don't have an office that they come to every day. Maybe you're not doing any marketing for this person, so you're just going to let them be independent. And that just means that they get paid directly from the FMO or the carrier and that they own their own book of business. All right, so protecting your investment. As a business owner, you really have to make sure that you have these staples in place. Many people talk with a business lawyer and formalize and draft up like a non-compete, a compensation agreement. Maybe you decide that there's going to be a vesting period, like after 2 years, you bump up their commission split or they're able to own their business. Here you can be really flexible about your arrangements. But it is important to have everything in writing. This is not a time to have a gentleman's agreement with a handshake. Never, ever, ever. We're talking about your blood, sweat, and tears here. We aren't talking about giving a friend a job. We're talking about this is a business decision and you need to protect yourself and all the potential down the road of what could happen. And we're not talking about tomorrow. We're talking about maybe 2, 3, 5, 10 years down the road when this person decides to leave. You need to have everything in writing. You need to be very clear about expectations and what happens in every situation. Obviously, I've seen a lot of bad happen with people bringing on agencies or agents under the agency and not having a contract in place, not having a non-compete in place. One of the hardest things to do as a business owner is to find good people to work for you. And once you have found a good person, I know you want to put all your trust into them. But when it comes to money, let's be honest, people can get ugly. You can see a different side of a person that you've never seen before. So protect yourself off the start. I cannot stress that enough. So compensation structure. I've seen it all, like I said. It's really important to maybe make a list of the things that you're giving this individual, right? Because are you giving them a roof, an office to come to every day? Are you giving them a brand recognition right off the bat where they're going to be getting business immediately, not starting from scratch? Are you going to be supplying leads and doing any marketing? Are you going to be teaching them? Are you going to be bringing them on ride-alongs, letting them sit on your appointments? How involved are you going to be through that process? the longer that list gets, the more involved that list is, the more of the split to the house should be. Okay. And I mentioned being vested later. That means maybe you decide it's 50-50 for 6 months and you'll reestablish and see how much they've learned. And maybe they're not taking up as much of your time. So you're going to bump their section up to 60. And maybe, they've been doing a lot of hard work. They're out doing seminars. They're creating their own leads. They're bringing in business you wouldn't have had 70-30 to them. So it's all perspective. It's all what's given, what's learned. Please be creative here. Again, you're the business owner. You're the president, the CEO, the everything. Be confident in this. Seek the opinion of other business owners that are your friends or family. I know Ken's always happy to have this conversation with individuals. And Steve Clemens, our president and CEO of our company. I'm happy to have conversations about what other businesses are doing, but we have it all over the map. Like I said, we have very established agencies that have 10 employees and they're all on salary. It's a salary. That's it. There's no compensation for sales because they're just there to answer the phone and take appointments. They have an admin that assigns them appointments all day long. So they know they're coming in and running appointments and they're just getting paid to do what they do. And they're all great at their job. We have other ones that they get a small salary. And then once the person has sold enough to recoup for the business to recoup the salary, then they start getting commission splits. Kind of works like a car salesman structure. We have other ones where they get $100 sale. It is what it is. It's a flat fee. A lot of 60-40s, a lot of 70-30 splits though. Again, happy to talk to you about your unique situation. Recruiting downlines. This is the hardest part, honestly, is finding good people. Don't be scared to hire family members. We say extraordinary people know extraordinary people. And honestly, it's always worked out for us. If you know and work with URL, we probably have about 15 or so friends and family members that work here because it works. You can trust them. You can rely on them. So don't be afraid of that opportunity. Look for seasoned agents. I mentioned the life insurance agents that get tossed to the side, and maybe they didn't have the correct mentorship and could do a lot better under somebody like you that knows what they're doing and knows how to guide them and teach them and show them the ropes. So just because they failed in one area doesn't mean that they can't do this. Look for inexperienced agents. Basically what I just said too. Top salespeople from other industries. We have an agency here that we work with that their top salesperson was actually a car salesman. We work with a top agency where their top salesperson worked at a gas station, and the person was just friendly every single day, and they knew that they could do more. So keep your eyes open everywhere. I know I worked at an agency with my father. He did the life and annuities and I did PNC. And every time we ate out, he tried to recruit the waitress because if she did a very good job. So it's all about keeping your eyes and ears open for that person that has the it factor. And when you know. Indeed is a great tool. We find a lot of our staff here at URL off of Indeed. I used it personally for my staff. I do have an ad that I've used over and over. You're welcome to it. I know I've shared it with some of my agencies before, so reach out if you're looking to use it. We have a pre-screening question. I do a phone call first just for 15 minutes because it's amazing how fast you can weed out people in that first phone call before you have to sit with them. I have another agency that does video questions, and that seems to work really good with them before you actually have the person come in. So there's great tools out there for you to use to find people. I kind of made a list of these things earlier when I was talking about your split and how to determine that. What are you giving to them? Are you giving succession planning? Is your name tied to it? What's going to happen when they leave? The leads, the website, access to systems and equipment, because those aren't cheap. We all know with Medicare, recording calls, if you're not using Medicare Now, which we give it for free on our platform, if you're using Ring Central or your agency management system, sometimes have it included. Office support. I mean, we all know how valuable office support is. You can't do it all. And really, finding time to do all of that paperwork and filing and organizing, it can become very cumbersome, and you're not spending your time selling. And that's what we want you to do is if you're not selling, you're doing something out in the community to be able to get sales, right? You sitting behind the desk, putting people in the agency management system or scheduling appointments is not where you're best served. Next is marketing materials, and this is the fun stuff too, right? Building your webinar, your website, and having your business cards made with stationery and getting your headshots done, letterhead, giveaways we can help you with from the carriers specifically. We've gave away some really good ones here, like umbrellas and blankets and things that don't cost a lot of money that are really fun if you're looking for some opinions. A series of marketing letters, which we do have grassroots marketing letters that are templated for you if you want to use them. I highly recommend that you personalize them. They're very, direct and to the point about Medicare facts, but it's a good start to a letter. And build your LLC, your brand. You are the brand now. So anytime you have an opportunity to use that, go for it. And I just threw this slide in here in case any of you aren't currently selling Medicare and you are just like, maybe I want to start doing this. I personally wish that I would have known about Medicare sooner. I spent my life working in the PNC side of the business, and I very much enjoyed it, but I am passionate about Medicare. Just the people that we're serving and all of the responsibility that comes with it, I feel has so much value in it. It makes me feel, needed at the end of the day. And I like to say there's opportunity, necessity, and profitability in Medicare. So opportunity, obviously, we're at 10,000 people turning 65 every day. Baby boomers are about to come into that, and those numbers are going to jump up dramatically. Necessity is Medicare is not easy to understand. Yes, people can go on Medicare.gov, put their drugs in, quote themselves, but they have no idea what they're doing or looking at, or the difference between a Medicare supplement and a Medicare Advantage plan. It really does take a caring agent to sit down and take the time to explain it to them. So you definitely are a necessity. And then profitability. Unlike other lines of business, Medicare has residuals. We have renewals, and they last for a lifetime. So even the Med Sups now pay at 11 plus years, just at a lower percentage, where Medicare Advantage pays the same renewal rate the whole time the person's on the plan. So this is really setting you up for success long-term because you're growing, right? You could essentially double your book every single year if you wanted to, with revenue and policyholders. That's an amazing opportunity where people with like life insurance and annuities, they're starting from scratch every year. They have to write new clients to be able to pay their bills, feed their family. You're lucky that you can just let it roll. And that works great when you get older and you maybe don't want to grow your book as hard or as fast anymore, but you just work off referrals. That's the goal. The goal is for you to be able to just live off referrals. We hope to get you there someday. We are very fortunate at URL to be established for 39 years since 1986. And we have a ton of agents that have been with us from the beginning and now are at that phase. And it's awesome to see because they're super passionate about their book of business and their clients that they have. And they're only working on, friends or family or referrals that are coming in. And they're so happy doing that. But we are also working with the young and the hungry and the ones that want to do the grind. And that's so fun. It's so fun for me to get in there with you. So I hope you involve me in this process because I want you to know that I'm extremely passionate about it. And the hungrier you are, the hungrier I get. So let's work together. Let's make this fun and interesting all year long. I want to end the webinar just going over our conference. It is already scheduled for this year. It's September 3rd. I believe it's a Wednesday. So we will be at the Hershey Lodge again, starting at 8 a.m. We will have a keynote speaker to be determined at this point. I'm interviewing up like 3 or 4 people right now to make a decision. I just always want to bring value to you, teach you something new in our keynote speakers before you hear all the new benefits that are rolling out. I'm aware we're still waiting on litigation for CMS. I am going out to the Medicarians conference in Vegas here to hear in March to hear more about how they think that's going to transpire this year and what's going to happen. So I will share with you everything that I know when I know it. Please know, our agent partners will be the first to hear from us on anything that transpires. We really appreciate your business, and thank you so much for joining me today. We are going to have tons of webinars like this throughout the year. I'm going to be doing one a month about marketing or growing your business, and then we're going to have some carriers in here as well doing some speaker spots. So look forward to seeing you time and time again this year. And if you want to schedule a call with me to go over any sort of marketing campaign, feel free to reach out to me via email or phone call. And have a blessed year, everybody. Thank you so much.